So here we are the other night on YouTube, and I come across this video, and there's this young woman, probably in her 20s, and she's talking about how she feels like she hasn't achieved anything in her life. She wasn't crying, wasn't whining or anything like that. She was just, kind of matter of fact about it. Like she genuinely believed that by this point in her life, she should have hit certain marks, and she hasn't. And she's sitting there feeling like someone behind, sort of like a failure. And I'm going to be honest, I don't normally look at these videos because generally I get a sense that the younger generations are just complaining, and I'm guilty of just kind of judging a book by its cover. But nonetheless, I thought that this was going to be another young person just simply complaining. But something in how she was talking and what she was saying, it resonated with me. And she was talking about life's checklist. And you know exactly what checklist I'm referring to. You go to school, you graduate, you get into a good college, you get the degree, you get the career, you climb the ladder, you get married, and you get the house, all of it. It's the same checklist that we've all been exposed to, all stacked up on some invisible timeline. And what really stuck with me was a question that she asked, and that was, why does life have to be something you figure out at all? Now, the reason that stuck with me is because as I got older, I began to realize that I don't believe that there's anyone on the face of this planet that's really got it figured out. There's no guide to being a human. There's no guide to being an adult. There's no guide to being a parent. There's no guide to anything. And even though people may offer, their own life experience, may offer what they consider to be solutions on how to handle life, the truth is, they don't really know either. We are all just trying to figure it out. So I sat there after the video ended and I started thinking back on myself at her age. And here's what I realized. I not only was handed the same checklist, but I felt the exact same way that she's feeling. Decades before her, way before she was even born, I was sitting there in my 20s feeling like I was already behind on some invisible schedule that I never remember agreeing to, and feeling the exact same way that she does. And I know it's easy for someone my age to look at a younger generation and think, all right, come on, man, like they got it easier than we did and they're still out here complaining. But that's not really what's going on here. This isn't a Gen Z problem. It's not a millennial problem either. I mean, sure, certain milestones might have shifted a little. Prices have obviously changed and gone up. The job market has changed, but the idea that you're supposed to have hit certain checkpoints by certain ages, or you've failed somehow, that's something that has been getting passed down for way longer than any of us have even been alive to even notice it happening. So what I think is that the day-to-day, it looks different depending on when you grow up, but we're running the exact same program underneath all of it. For her, it's probably scrolling and comparing, seeing posts from people her age, engagements, houses, promotions, and feeling that gut punch every single time, like everyone around her has gotten the memo except for her. And for me, growing up, it was different technology, but the same feeling. It was hearing about someone's accomplishments through, either word of mouth, or mainly we compared ourselves to what we would see on TV or hear on the radio. So different delivery systems, same message, which is somebody else has made it and you haven't. And I think that constant comparison does something to you over time. And it's so beneath the surface. We don't necessarily see it happening, but it's happening. It doesn't just make you feel bad for a minute and pass, but instead it stays with you, and it sort of starts dictating your decisions. So you start chasing things not because you actually want them, but because not having them feels like public proof that you are behind. I know for me that fed straight into me jumping from one shiny idea to the next over years, always looking for the thing that was finally going to get me caught up to wherever I thought I was supposed to be. I still find myself falling into that same behavior. And I don't think that that's unique to me. I think a whole lot of people are quietly making major life decisions like careers, relationships, where they live, based on catching up to this timeline instead of based on what they actually want. But here's the part that really gets me when I think about it. Nobody handed this idea of a timeline over to us on purpose. They didn't do it out of spite or because they were being mean. My mother, obviously didn't sit me down and say, here's a lie to carry your entire life. She was just repeating what got handed to her, and her parents got it from their parents and so on. It's like, it's less like somebody planted the idea and more like it just kept getting passed on generation to generation. Everybody just assuming the people before them had already checked that it was true. But as we can see, most people just go on, they just go with the programming. And that's where I have a lot of trouble really understanding, because going with the programming costs so much. It costs years, our lives even, spent feeling like a failure for not hitting marks that were never guaranteed to even make you happy, even if you did hit them. It's relationship strain because somebody felt like they had to rush into a house or a marriage or a career move just to catch up, instead of actually being ready. It's parents and kids, friends and neighbors, quietly measuring the other against this made-up timeline that neither of them ever stops to ask, where did this standard even come from? So ask yourself this. If you had hit every single one of your milestones exactly on schedule back when you thought you were supposed to, would you be any happier right now? Because I think, honestly, probably not. You'd probably just be the same you, with the same worries, same anxious thoughts, same episodes of feeling like you are less than, and just wearing a different outfit made out of a house and a title instead of whatever you actually had at that time. So if there's a problem here, perhaps the problem is believing that there is an actual schedule to life, and perhaps you are never truly behind. Because if every generation is carrying around the exact same feeling of, I should have more by now, at every age, no matter what decade they were born in, then that feeling probably isn't telling you the truth about your life. What I do know is that most of us, including myself, have not been living on our own schedules. And even though I'm aware of that, I still catch those same feelings creeping up on me sometimes, even at 50, even knowing everything I just told you. And I guess that's just because old habits, old fears, they don't just disappear because you finally see them clearly. And life truly is a work in progress. So at what age did you start feeling like you were behind, and how has that affected you? Let us know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.